This old guy DIY video has to do with the technique that I use to start a brush fire. So I'm at the house of a hot chick that I know. It's snowing today, so it's legal to burn without a permit. She's had this brush pile for about 4 years. The technique that I use to start a fire like this is to go to the brush pile. I had about 7 gallons of old fuel from various outboards and lawnmowers and that type of thing. Then I bring a sacrificial towel out. It's kind of like waterboarding a brush pile. Throw the towel over the top, then dump all the fuel in. So my goal here is to have one hot spot right here on the west side of the pile, since the wind is from the west. And I'm going to step back about 40 feet and throw a flare onto it. And hopefully the thing takes off and we'll see what happens. The most important part of this transaction is stepping back away from the pile. After dumping all that fuel, once the torch hits it, it goes woof, and you'll certainly feel the blowback if you're too close. With this particular road flare that I'm using, you remove the plastic cap from the end, and it has some glorified sandpaper here. I'll take that and strike it like a match on the end of the flare. The flare will light, and at that point, I stand back here and I throw that flare over onto that towel. All right, the flare is lit. Now we'll see how good my toss is. I didn't get it right onto the towel. I'm a little bit uphill, but I suspect it's going to go boom here in a moment. I'm not going to walk up to that thing and move that torch towel closer to the flare. But fortunately I brought a second flare. So I'm going to light up the second one and see if I can't hit the towel. All right, here we have flare number 2. I'll try to be more gentle. Watching this thing, you know, it's unlike the movies where a guy dumps a little gasoline and throws a match on it and all of a sudden the whole house is engulfed. In my experience, it takes a little work to make a fire. And in this case, the towel's burning, but I haven't gotten to the part that's saturated with gas yet, so we'll give it a minute. I see it's starting to burn the towel to the right, so we're getting into some towel burning action, which should lead to gas ignition here shortly. Well, no sonic boom, but we have a fire. That was more controlled than I expected. The last time I did this, I threw a towel in there that just had a bunch of gasoline on it, and as I was walking away, the concussion was almost enough to push me to the ground. But in this case, I just have a happy fire doing what it's supposed to do. It was all controlled. I'm standing back here safe, and now I'm also warm. It only cost me 2 flares, 1 towel, and 7 gallons of waste fuel. I've been piling stuff in this brush pile for the last 4 years or so. So I started on this southwest corner where the wood was the oldest. That stuff that you see on the farthest area from us is the newest material. So my thought is, once I get a nice hot fire going with this old wood, that new stuff will kind of dry out as the fire on the old stuff is burning. And by the time this is over, that new material should also burn down. So now it'll probably be a couple of hours of burning, and this thing will burn itself out, and that'll be it for today. As I move closer to inspect this thing, you can see that bright red area. That's where that road flare is still burning, and the fire's starting to grow to some of that drier material and work its way around as I had hoped it would. Pile number 1 is burning nicely. I had some more waste fuel. I had another scrap towel, and I have a road flare in my pocket, so we're going to light up pile number 2. Road flare number 2 is in action. Let's see how good my toss is. There we go. Sounded nice and controlled. That old waste diesel fuel lit off like it should. As long as I was here monitoring one fire, Thought I might as well watch them both. That far one caught pretty quickly and it's doing well. This one over here is struggling. There hasn't been any material thrown in here for about 4 years, so I thought the material would be nice and dry. I threw a couple more branches on top. We'll see if it takes off. Based on the lackluster result on this little guy, I may have to come back some other day and burn the rest of that pile. The one over there is doing nicely. So here we have the tale of two fires. The right one's burning as it should. This left one pretends nothing even happened there. That road flare goes for 20 minutes, so I have about another 10 minutes of heat out of it anyway. I generally don't like to waste things, but this fire is doing so poorly. I threw a second road flare down there. We'll see if that catches some dry material. It can cause this pile to burn up yet today. Well, if you choose to use this technique, I hope you have a nice, safe, controlled fire. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.